To me, this is another PR fail nightmare of them trying to convince us that Kyle and Morgan Wade are actually in a romantic relationship. This to me just screams desperate and thirsty and trying to convince us this is real. And this is a huge fail to me. Okay. So Kyle gets a cowgirl hat tattoo amid rumored romance with country singer Morgan Wade. Yikes. And I'm going to tell you what I mean by this. So everybody, when Kyle gets her new tattoo and it's a cowboy hat, the first thing everybody thinks is, oh, this must be a tattoo for Morgan. Morgan is a country singer. She's a country gal. This must be a tattoo for Morgan. No, what I think is going on, and I'm going to tell you what I think the tattoo is really about, is like I said before, Morgan and Kyle are in this PR relationship. Morgan's team wanted, the followers, the money, all of that stuff, make Morgan a star. I think Kyle was going through it. She wanted a storyline. She wanted to get Mauricio's attention and all of that, right? And now that Mauricio, I think, is sort of, because I do think the separation was Kyle's idea, but I think to continue the separation is Mauricio's idea. Like, I think that if Kyle had it her way, her and Mo would be back together. And I think that she's now kind of spiraling even more because it's like, wait a minute, I was going through something. I wanted a change in my marriage, but I didn't actually ever want to get divorced. Right? But Mauricio's kind of like, wait a minute, I can quote cheat and not get in trouble, and I might be able to like be free. Hey, I'm just going to continue with this separation. Let's like write it on to the cows come home. And I'll get into that. But first, I'm going to tell you what I think this cowboy hat is really about. And I think that they're just using it. And by they, I mean Kyle's PR team and Morgan's PR team to sort of do what they always do. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, Kyle and Morgan are together. I think the reason why she got the hat isn't because Morgan is a country singer, but because she's obsessed with that hat store, Kimosabe. That's been her whole personality for years. Prior to Morgan, Kyle was always spotted with a hat. She was always wearing a cowboy hat. She goes to Aspen, she gets these hats. That's the whole spot of the infamous Tequila Gate with Lisa Rinna and Kathy Hilton. She goes and does the hats. She bought Rihanna a hat, an $895 hat in Aspen, at her favorite store. So what I think they're doing is they're running out of fodder. They're running out of stuff that we would care about, right? Like when they tried to separate publicly, when Morgan wiped her whole IG, and when Kyle was wearing the Umansky jacket, and when Kyle was basically like, Morgan's just one chick I text. We're really not that close. She's in a group of friends on Jeff Lewis. They were afraid that they were going to face all this backlash because then everyone's like, oh, are they fighting? Are they no longer together? And Morgan has this upcoming tour with Alanis Morissette and putting out new music. I think the powers that be got scared that as quickly as we made these people into stars, that could easily go south. And I think that they were scared of the backlash. And that's why Morgan was in her Instagram stories being like, we're not fighting. Everything's okay. And then all of a sudden they're spotted together again, spotted at, Watch What Happens Live. And she's touching her butt and, spotted at dinners and all this stuff, which clearly they called the paparazzi themselves. And so I think they're running out of stunts. They're running out of fodder for us to talk about. So it's like, well, let's go back to the tattoos because that's a whole thing. And so I think Kyle was like, well, I'll get a tattoo of a cowboy hat because I love Kimosabe. And then we can just put it out there. It's because of like the Morgan thing, And to me, this is like, stop playing in our faces again. We're not stupid. Kyle got the tattoo because she loves Kimosabe and she loves being wearing the hat. But the way their publicists will plant the seed in the media is to keep their whole relationship going, speculation, to give Kyle a storyline for next season to try and get more attention from Mauricio that he's not giving her. It's like, stop. We see through the BS, you know? And I'm sure in a week, Kyle's gonna be like, oh my God, no, like this hat had nothing to do with Morgan. It was because I love Kimosabe. Like the press, it's the media. The media is the people making us, blah, blah, blah. Like, stop. And then she was on her Amazon Live being like, oh no, like the whole Dumas, because remember there was like the whole thing in Dumas that was like, oh, Kyle and Morgan are going to debut their relationship on the cover of a magazine, some sexy spread or whatever that crap it was. It was like country singer meets reality star going public. It's official. And Kyle on her Amazon Live was like, no, that's not us. That's not true. Like, I don't know who that is, but it isn't us. Now, do I think she's lying or telling the truth? I don't know. Do I think their PR camps planted that in Dumas? Probably. I'm of the mind that 98% of what we see about Kyle and Morgan in the press is planted by Kyle and Morgan's team. Like, honestly, that's what I think. I think that the people calling Backgrid, and Backgrid is the paparazzi that takes the photos of them, is them. So everything we're seeing, oh, the tattoo, oh, the Dumas post, I think it's all their PR teams giving us content, giving us fodder. So now all of a sudden, she has a cowboy hat tattoo. Girl, bye. Mark my words. If somebody asks her about the tattoo, all of a sudden it's going to be because she's obsessed with Kimosabe. And she's always worn hats forever, and it's just been her thing, and she's always worn cowboy hats, which I agree. She has always worn cowboy hats, and I do think it's because of Kimosabe, whatever the hell the store is called. But I think she strategically got that, and I think her PR people strategically planted that she gets a cowgirl hat tattoo and connecting it to Morgan being a country singer. You get it? It's enough plausible deniability, but it's giving us fodder. It's giving us content. So that's what I think is going on with them. But let's go on to a little bit more of the nitty gritty and what Kyle has to say. So this is from Reality Blurb. It says Kyle Richards is explaining why she waited to discuss her separation from Mauricio Umansky until the end of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills season 13. During an appearance earlier this week after Mauricio was seen chatting about their split with their daughters in the trailer for the second season of the Netflix series Buying Beverly Hills, Kyle shared why she didn't open up about their breakup earlier, as she also revealed whether she and Mauricio have spoken about moving into new homes and dating other people. The whole thing has been really hard, Kyle admitted, of sharing her marital hardships on camera during a February 20th appearance on Amazon Live. According to Kyle, she didn't open up about her marriage issues with Mauricio earlier in the season because the alleged leaked story wasn't shared with people until after filming wrapped. We were done filming and the story came out, and then the Netflix cameras happened to be in Aspen, so they ended up filming us talking about it, she revealed, giving a nod to scenes that will be featured on Buying Beverly Hills Season 2. Obviously, Bravo's been following my life for 13 years. It's not like we can film that scene and then I don't share it with the viewers of the Housewives. We ended up shooting both of those scenes for Buying Beverly Hills and The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills after we were all wrapped. Nearly a year after their split, Kyle said that she and Mauricio have talked about moving out but are still living together. That's a conversation that's happening. We're fortunate that we don't fight and we get along, so it's actually oddly work, she explained. As for whether or not they've begun dating other people, Kyle said, that's a big question. We're allowed to. We're allowed to do what we want. When asked about Brandi Glanville's recent allegations against Andy Cohen, who accused her of who she accused of sexual harassment, Kyle didn't want to say much. I don't want to comment on that because I don't want to deal with the aftermath of that. I think we're all responsible for what we do. I can just say to you, from my experience in all of these years, I've never been forced to drink, told to drink, nothing ever, she stated. Regarding her other former co-star Lisa Vanderpump, Kyle confessed to feeling like there is a chance they'd reconcile. I don't know. I've never say never about anything. This last year has taught me never say never, she teased. Now, this is the thing. I think, and again, this is just my opinion. I want to know what you guys think. I think Kyle desperately wants Mauricio back. And I think that Mauricio is the one who wants to continue the separation at this point. That's just what my gut says. I think that Kyle wants to be friends with Lisa Vanderpump again. I think she's really, really missing her. Like, did you notice how, sorry if my voice went out. Did you notice how Kyle has brought Lisa Vanderpump up like a half a dozen times? At the reunion, she's talking about LVP. At the SoFi white party, she's talking about LVP and all of that stuff. She got, Ken, the designer or the event planner on. I think she's really, really missing Lisa Vanderpump. She's doing impressions of her and all of that stuff. But the thing is, Kyle, the way you get a friendship back isn't by, making jokes and doing all that stuff. It's by picking up the phone and saying, hey, listen, I really miss you. And this is where I messed up in the friendship. I'm not asking anything of you. I'm just taking accountability of where I went wrong. And I want to see if you're open to talking. That's how you get a friend back, or at least start the process of repairing a friendship. Because I think Kyle desperately misses Lisa Vanderpump. That's why she keeps bringing her up. It's like your friend who keeps talking about their ex from 2 years ago, and he's like married with a kid now, but she's like still talking about him. And you're like, girl, you need to move on. Like, just go ahead and block him so you can move on with your life. That's what it's giving. Like, Kyle gets a twinkle in her eye, and like the way she talks about Lisa Vanderpump, it's like she misses like an old boyfriend that she like wants to like check his Instagram, to see if he's still in a relationship, going to Facebook, checking the status if people are on Facebook anymore. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I think she desperately misses LVP, and she wants her back, and I think she wants Mauricio back. But I think Mauricio is kind of like, girl, you opened the gate and I'm busting wide through it. You opened the gate. So we'll see what happens with that. I always thought that they would get back together. I still think that. I don't know why I still think that, but I do. Like, down the line, I do. Maybe I'll be proven wrong. Maybe I'll change my mind. Who knows? I never want a family to break up, but I do want people to be happy. Okay. So as she faced speculation over her marriage in mid-season 13, newbie Annemarie, and speaking of it, she does pronounce her name Annemarie. I had this troll in my comments a little bit back was like, I can't listen to someone who doesn't know how to pronounce her name. It's Anne-Marie. And I was like, I'm pretty sure she pronounces it Anna-Marie. And she does. It's Anna-Marie. So, hi, troll. Thank you for commenting. It wasn't any of my sweet candy canes. Anyway, Annemarie Wiley, 41, faced tons of backlash from fans who didn't appreciate her many questions about Sutton's esophagus. I always feel so bad when things don't go well for a new housewife, Kyle said in response. It's hard coming into this. When I came onto the show, we were all new. I say show, but it's our lives with cameras. So coming into that, I don't even know what it must feel like after all these years of being established. Kyle, shut up, because you set Annemarie up for failure. First of all, you got on the show lying, talking about she's your new friend. She wasn't your new friend. You said on Jeff Lewis, you met the chick one time, and because Bravo was hiring for diversity, in my opinion, you said, oh, I met a black chick. Her name's Annemarie. Let's see if we can bring her on. That's kind of what I think happened. That's just what I do. That's just how I think it went. And then you put a battery in her back, being like, oh, go after Sutton, go after Crystal, be my mouthpiece, and you'll be protected on the show. And Annemarie quickly realized that Kyle is nobody's friend. And we saw it on the show, them talking about how Annemarie was going to go after Sutton about the esophagus. And Kyle was like laughing and being like, yeah, like we saw the scene. So it really did happen. So am I a fan of Annemarie? No. But do I think she was set up to fail given her whole Kyle situation? Yeah. I think if she would have went in being herself, then maybe she would have been more likable. Maybe she would have made better connections with the women, but she went in clearly as Kyle's mouthpiece, and that did not work out for her. watching the reunion, I did feel a lot of sadness and empathy for her, given that her mother was dealing with like a tumor or cancer, one of the two, I can't remember, and then her mom had passed away. And you could tell at the reunion, like Annemarie like wasn't there. I think she's dealing with a lot. She's dealing with her husband allegations. She's dealing with the death of her mother, and she's dealing like looking like a damn fool on national television. So she is dealing with a lot. And I do think a lot of her problems, it's like a tick. It's like I think there's something not like all the cylinders aren't firing. Like all the syntaxes aren't connecting. Like there's something amiss with her. And so I do feel bad for her in that sense because I do think something's a little off. And I mean that respectfully. Like I really do. I really do. I just think there's something like all the ships aren't coming into the dock at the same time. Like something's off. And so I think she was kind of set up to fail. I think Annemarie doesn't need to come back, not just because I don't vibe with her as a housewife, but as a human and as a woman, or just as a human, I guess. Oh, no, we're women, as a woman too. I want her to really take care of herself. I really do. I think she's not in a good way. I really want her to look after her own health, mentally and physically, and I want her to look after her children. Because I think the death of her mother, coupled with the allegations against her husband, that has to be a pretty dark place. So I think she needs to take care of herself first and to get to a place where she can really take care of her children, because that can't be a fun conversation to have. You know what I'm saying? So I hope she gets help, and she just needs, I don't know. I don't think she needs to be on our screen. Let's put it that way. But Kyle, in my opinion, is dead wrong. You set that girl up for failure. And then once she failed, you were like, I don't know that girl. You were like, I don't know her. Who that? Okay. Looking ahead to the future with Bravo, Kyle admitted she's unsure of a season 14 return. I never know. One day I will leave. I just don't know right now. I have so much on my plate that I can't think about that at this moment, she noted. That said, she does have some people she'd like to see on season 14. Teddy Mellencamp. People want to see my sister Kim. I love Eileen. Lisa Rinna was great on the show, she said. As for the current cast, Kyle said they talk off the show as well as on. I'm supposed to have dinner with Erica soon, and actually Rinna also, she revealed. Now, I got a couple of things to say about that one. The reason why Kyle wants Teddy back is because she needs a loyal mouthpiece who will never defy her. We don't want Teddy back. I wouldn't mind having Kim back. I wouldn't mind having Eileen back. Lisa Rinna needs to stay on pause. The reason why I think she's getting dinner with Erica, and then maybe Rinna too, she's getting dinner with Erica because she doesn't have anybody else. So she has to keep Erica as an ally. I think that it's like the lesser of two evils in her mind, because she clearly doesn't like Dorit for a myriad of reasons what's going on with it. I'm going to do a deep dive into the demise of their friendship as well, but she doesn't have anybody. She doesn't rock with Garcelle or Sutton or Crystal. Annemarie is a one and done flop. She's beefing with Dorit. She doesn't have anybody else. So she has to anchor with Erica because she needs someone on the show. And I have said this and I stand by it. My gut. Remember when in the leaked text messages that Dorit showed to production for the reunion? And Kyle says, and again, Kyle not being very emotionally intelligent, because I'm going to tell you what Kyle did, and I'm going to tell you what an emotionally intelligent person actually does. So Kyle's like, I heard you said something about me, and I can't say what it is or who said it, but it really hurt me, and I haven't been able to say anything, blah, 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 blah. I think Lisa Rinna told Kyle whatever it was that her and Dorit were talking trash about Kyle. Maybe Dorit did it in a text. Maybe she did it in a DM. Maybe it was just verbal. But I think Lisa Rinna is still so burnt and mad that she got fired. I think she's trying to do anything she can to get back on the show. I think it was Rinna who told Kyle what Dorit allegedly said or didn't say. And emotionally, immature person would take what that person said as the gospel truth, be so hurt and in their feelings about it, and ruin a friendship over it. Now, do I think that's the only reason why Kyle stopped messing with Dorit? No. Do I think she used it as an excuse because she wanted reasons to be mad at Dorit instead of just saying, Dorit, I'm mad at you because you've been smelling my husband and you're looking overly familiar and the world is laughing, thinking that you're having sex with my husband, and that's why I can't look at you anymore. But instead of saying that, I'm going to use every other excuse in the book. What an emotionally intelligent person does is say, oh, wow, thank you for this information. And they either disregard it and they kind of look at that person and go, why did you tell me this? What is your agenda? Or they go to that person who is their good girlfriend and say, hey, Lisa Renna just said you said this. She sent me this screenshot, or here are the receipts, or she told me you said this to her. Let's talk about it. Is this true? Why is it true? Because you can't take anybody's word about anything for the gospel truth. You can't. You have to think about, why are you saying this? Why are you wanting to put a ridge between us, you know? And then also, usually when people come to you and they're like, oh, this person was talking about you, well, they were talking about you too. Unless they just sat there and said nothing. Or did they say, hey, that's my friend, stop talking crap about my friend? If not, they were participating and talking about you too. But it's just mad day between that person and the other person that now they want to bring this to you. I think Kyle just wanted reasons to be mad at Dorit. You know, she just wanted reasons to be mad at her. So there's that. Anyway, and her Bravo relationships aren't limited to the Beverly Hills cast. Kyle has also stayed in touch with other Real Housewives Ultimate Girlship co-stars. She texts and sees Kenya when she's here. I love Kenya. Luann and I and Ramona will text me if she's in Aspen. Well, good for you, Kyle. Do you want a cookie that you hang out with Kenya, Luann, and Ramona? Yikes. I think Kyle could take a pause. I would be okay with Kyle taking a pause. Unless she comes back really ready to be open and honest. Other than that, I'm okay with her kind of sitting down and having several seats for a bit. But as always, I want to know what you guys think. You know, what do you think about Kyle and this hat tattoo? Are you like me and you're like, she got it because she's always worn hats and it's really because of her love of Kimo Sabe, but their PR team is going to spin it like she got the hat from Morgan for content, for fodder, for headlines. You see what I'm saying? And then what do you think about Kyle and Mauricio? Do you think they really will divorce? I think I'm torn at this part. I'm not 100% sure anymore. Because now I feel like he is actually more checked out of the marriage than she is. And that's always a dangerous place to be when you're married to someone. So who knows? And do you think Kyle and Morgan are real, or do you think it's a fake relationship? So go ahead and let me know what you guys think and put it down below. And as always, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. So with that, let's move on to our next story. I think let's do Andy Cohen and Leah McSweeney. Okay. So Andy Cohen denies claims in Real Housewives of New York star Leah McSweeney's lawsuit. They are completely false. So let's break it down. This is in Us Weekly.